Hello and welcome to this lesson in the Writer's Guide to Freewrite. Authors, bloggers, memoirists, poets, business owners, journalists, journalers, content writers, screenwriters, the Freewrite family is composed of a great tapestry of writers across industries and specialties. In this lesson, we're going to learn firsthand from freewriters working in different industries about how they tailor their freewrite process to fit their unique needs and habits. Of course, how you use your device and cloud service is totally up to you. We're simply outlining a handful of recommendations that have worked for other users so you can try them for yourself. First up, a fiction writer's workflow with Alex Shaw, international best-selling thriller author. For several years, I'd heard about the Freewrite Smart Typewriter. I'd read articles about it, watched video reviews, and even added it to my cart several times. However, it wasn't until 3 summers ago that I actually bought a Freewrite. 2 months later, using my Freewrite, I had vastly increased my daily word count and had finished my first draft of Total Control. What's more, the manuscript, which I feared would be too short, ended up being 119,000 words, even more than I needed. So let's go through the 3 major steps of my writing process. Number 1, find your flow. What is it about freewrite devices and free writing that makes it such a winner? 2 words, flow state. It's the state when you're writing without pause, or writing without stopping to check social media, or to fact check, or even to edit. In short, you get to write the good stuff faster and defer the laborious editing phase. Unlike other devices I've used, my Freewrite enables me to stay longer and work faster in a flow state of mind. Of course, the more you write, the more you come up with an increasing number of ideas, solutions, and scenarios that magically materialize in your mind. 2, folders. What if you get stuck on a scene? Freewrite allows you to work on as many different documents as you want at the same time. Additionally, my Freewrite has 3 folders, so I organize my work by folders. I generally write in folder A, and if I want to switch to a different scene, or if I suddenly have inspiration in another story, I'll work on this in folder B. My folder C is reserved for my youngest son, who's writing his own superhero novel. And 3, build your yacht first. What are the restrictions of using a Freewrite rather than a laptop? There are a couple, but for me and for many Freewrite users, these are part of the magic, and I'll explain. You cannot undertake any online research when using a Freewrite. It's for writing only. This means research and fact-checking must be carried out at another time, and this is by design. It prevents you from exiting your writing to check on fact on the internet, only to be sucked into a YouTube rabbit hole. It's the same with correcting grammar and spelling. Leave this to your editing stage. Build the hull of your luxury yacht first before deciding what color leather to have on the captain's chair. Number 4, write on location. A major benefit of my Freewrite is its e-ink screen, which, unlike laptops, can be used in bright sunlight without any glare. I love writing on location, meaning that I actually get to sit in the place where the action takes and write the scene there. Previously, this was invariably hard and had to be on paper. Now I can use my Freewrite. And step 5, transfer your work. Apart from what is that and can it surf the internet, the next most frequent question I receive about my Freewrite is, how do I transfer my writing to a laptop? Well, once connected to Wi-Fi, anything I write automatically gets uploaded to Freewrite's own cloud service. But I don't use this. I actually use the send button on my keyboard. One press of this and whatever draft I have open is sent to my email, where I simply copy and paste that text into my longer document in Microsoft Word. I write novels for myself as well as for others in licensed franchises like BattleTech and Shadowrun. Working in established universes has helped me refine my writing workflow, and my Freewrite is a central, vital part of that process. Here's how it works. Number 1, brainstorming and proposals. More often than not, I'll Freewrite using my journal or the Freewrite itself to establish and explore the ideas I want to work on until I can build a synopsis for a novel. When I'm working in a licensed franchise, that synopsis will get turned into a proposal that includes small pastiches about the main characters, the major plot points, and a target word count. Then it goes to editors and licensors for approval. And once that's approved, I'll start the next step in my process, which is drafting. When I'm working for myself, I'm the only one that needs to approve the story, but I still gather all the same information as well as my take on the synopsis and head straight into drafting on my own. Number 2, start drafting. Once I'm in the drafting phase, the Freewrite is essential. On day 1, I'll write between 2,000 and 3,000 words on the Freewrite. I try to write short chapters that range in length from 1,500 to 2,500 words, so I'm always trying to write a little bit more than a chapter a day. Sometimes that doesn't work and the chapter runs longer, but the Freewrite still makes that easy enough. As I write, instead of going back to revise, I'll type out notes to myself right in the document about what I need to address later, which are instructions for the future me that I don't want to forget. Number 3, save a day's work in a master document. At the end of the day's writing, I'll hit the send button and email myself a copy of everything I've written for the day. Then I copy and paste that day's work, raw and unformatted, into my master document for the project. I use Apple Pages, but your favorite word processor will do. Number 4, review yesterday's work. On day 2 and each subsequent day thereafter, I start the day's work by formatting, cleaning up, and revising yesterday's work in my master document. This not only helps me remind me where I was in my story, it keeps my momentum up, energizing me for the work ahead. Number 5, start a new Freewrite draft. Once I'm satisfied with yesterday's work, I'll start a new, clean document on my Freewrite, and the process repeats. This helps me divide the tasks up in my brain. When I'm on my computer, I know I'm revising. When I'm on my Freewrite, my brain is tapped into drafting new words and ideas. Number 6, repeat. As I start the next day's drafting, I'll get a few thousand words in as fast as I can eke them out. Sometimes this will last an hour or two on a good day. Sometimes it's a slower process and takes all day, but then I repeat that process again, hitting send on the file, copying, pasting into the master document, calling it a day. I do this over and over and over again every single day until the end of the book. For a 100,000 word book, this usually takes me between 30 and 50 days, and it creates a version of the story I can send to my editor that feels more like a second draft than a messy first one. And now, Screenwriting, a Hollywood workflow by Mark Levine. When I came to Los Angeles 30 years ago, my goal was to become a film and television writer. After a few years working on the production side of the business, I was able to move into television writing. It was at the start of that screenwriting project that I bought my first Freewrite, the Smart Typewriter, which I used to write outlines, treatments, and the first draft of the screenplay. It's been a revelation. The industry standard writing software in the screenwriting world is Final Draft, which properly formats a script. Freewrite supports the use of Fountain, which is a simple markup syntax for writing screenplays in plain, human-readable text, so that when you transfer that work to Final Draft for editing, it's formatted just like a script. So here's my overview of my screenwriting workflow with Freewrite, Fountain, and Final Draft. First, brainstorm. I jot notes in my field note notebooks, my iPhone, or Freewrite Smart Typewriter or Traveler. With my newest script, I've been storing all of these notes as well as my online research in Scrivener. Number 2, high concept. In the TV and film business, you rarely get to just dive into the scripting. Even for my own stuff, I write a paragraph that hones the idea into a pitchable form. Number 3, an outline or beat sheet. I know outlines are a much debated topic in the world of novelists, but for scripts, especially if sold to a studio or producer, it's usually a must-have. Even famous screenwriters often have to write these documents if not selling an already completed spec script. The Freewrite has been great for my outlining process, which lays out the big beats of the story. Number 4, treatment. After I've laid out the beats, I dive deeper with a more dedicated treatment, which can run from 15 to 25 pages, and sometimes includes a little placeholder dialogue. This is a brand new document that I create on my Freewrite, which I then review as a printout or as a PDF on my iPad before moving to the script. 5, first draft screenplay with Fountain. Now the real fun begins. This is where I switch to folder C on my Freewrite, start a new document, and begin to write the actual script using Fountain. I also use advanced settings in Postbox to set folder C to save work in the final draft file format. As I write the final draft, I often send myself a backup copy, even though I know the draft is on Postbox or Dropbox. When I start to get a dozen or so pages into the script, I download the file or copy the scenes from Postbox itself and paste them into Final Draft. Voila, there are the scenes in perfect screen format. And finally, A Stress-Free Workflow by Lee John, fitness coach and avid journaler. I've been journaling with bad handwriting since I was 15. Now at 38, my handwriting is just as terrible, if not worse than it was back then. My journey with Freewrite began in the spring of 2023, after having an epiphany of sorts while struggling through yet another handwritten journal entry. I'd started noticing myself becoming less interested in writing, with my morning journaling and coffee routine starting to feel a little more arduous and a bit by rote. It dawned on me that because my handwriting is trash and my mind moves way faster than my terrible technique allows, my ability to really express myself and go deep in my journaling practice was being, and had always been, quite stifled. So, finding purpose in journaling. When I started journaling with Freewrite, it drastically expanded my ability to get my thoughts and my feelings down, way more than I was ever able to with my handwriting. We all have so much swirling around in our brains, and the point of journaling, for me at least, is to get that stuff out, read it back, and hopefully get a little perspective and some peace of mind. The more I write, the better I feel. Since using Freewrite though, another almost more meaningful purpose to my journaling has come into focus, and that's leaving a legacy. I never really thought about it before because honestly, I can barely decipher my old journals, and I seriously doubt my great-grandkids are going to be able to, even if they try to care. The automated process of work syncing from my Freewrite to Google Drive makes my workflow crazy easy. I set up syncing once, and I don't ever have to think about it again. If I wanted to, I could easily edit, spell check, and otherwise redact things that might be embarrassing or incriminating in Google Docs, but I think I'll choose to leave them in, despite the misspellings, bad grammar, and incredibly vulnerable and sometimes ugly inner workings of myself. After all, I seriously doubt I'd be embarrassed when I'm dead. For now, I'll just keep my passwords safe and sacred. Writing with Traveler has absolutely revolutionized my journaling practice. It's helped me have a more rich and meaningful relationship with myself by allowing a faster and more detailed expression of my innermost thoughts and feelings. It's enhanced my sense of purpose in journaling and has given me a broader, more long-term goal in leaving a legacy for the future. So those are just a handful of workflows that you can do with Freewrite. Thanks for joining us for this lesson. Right on.